Thank you, Unchi Bareen. We're so honored and thankful to have a Lakota speaker join us, and the prayer was beautiful. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Did you want to say anything else, Unchi?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you very much. The honor is all ours. We're so delighted that everyone is able to join us today. My name is Dr. Kelly Hallman. I'm an enrolled tribal citizen of the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma. I'm the founder and executive director of the Indigenous Adolescent Girls Empowerment Network, or IMAGEN, it's the acronym that we use. A few housekeeping items before we get started. If you experience technical difficulties, please send a message using the chat function to all panelists, and one of our colleagues will help you. During the screening, everyone will remain in listen-only mode. The event will be recorded starting now, and we will share the recording later with those who are not able to join us today. After we watch the film, we'll have a Q&A session, and that will include the film's director, Native American women from the Oglala Lakota and One Dakota Nations, a champion and supporter of our work, a valued colleague working in Central America with Indigenous girls and women, and myself. You can submit written questions at any time using the chat function on the bottom of your screen is where it usually appears. We'll try our best to answer all the questions today, but if we're not able to get to your question due to time constraints, you can log into www.imagen-network.org, and you can chat us through the social media function, our social media channels, or you can email us, and you can find all that info on our website, or you can go to the Population Council website, popcouncil.org, and submit a question that way. Given the large numbers of participants in this event, which we're very happy about, we know that everyone will have differing Wi-Fi bandwidths, and it's possible that while watching the film within Zoom, the resolution may not be as good as you'd like. And if that does occur, there are two options that we might suggest. First, you can try reducing the size of the Zoom screen that you're viewing in, and that will make the video appear more clear. But if it's still really choppy and you're just not happy with how it looks, we can provide the YouTube link for you to open the YouTube browser separately and watch it there, and we'll provide you that link in the chat. If you do choose to go to YouTube to see the video, we really hope you return to the event so you can participate in the Q&A afterwards. So thank you. At this time, I'm delighted to introduce the film's director, Ms. Victoria Kupchinetsky of Voice of America, and she'll briefly explain how she came to make the film. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Hello, everybody. I am Victoria Kupchinetsky. I'm a staff on-camera television correspondent for Voice of America. So I met Kelly in 2019 by chance, and we started talking about her project, IMAGEN, a project for Indigenous girls and young women. And as a storyteller, I always look for unique stories. I always look for human stories that I would like to share. And I felt that this story and what Kelly was doing was very unique and very special. And so we kept talking about this project and her project. And shortly afterwards, after I met her, Voice of America, the director of Voice of America, Amanda Bennett, she was the director of VOA at that time. She is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist herself. She announced throughout VOA a competition for the best story about women throughout the whole agency. That competition was for all the journalists at the agency, and we are a huge agency. We are all over the world. We broadcast in 47 languages. And I decided that I should try to share Kelly's story and IMAGEN's story with Voice of America, and I wrote it up and I applied. So my pitch was one of the 2 winning pitches throughout the whole Voice of America. So it means that the jury of VOA that consisted of my fellow journalists recognized the importance, the significance of what Kelly was doing and the importance of helping those girls on Native American reservations. So Kelly and I started talking about going to the reservation together and filming there, and she took that risk of allowing me to follow her. We went there in January, February, March of 2020. I came back from South Dakota to New York, where I'm based in on March 4th. And on March 24th, New York, where I am, was in total lockdown. So the atmosphere around you, the reality around you was very tragic and very morbid. And of course, working under such circumstances was incredibly difficult. And I had very difficult time finishing this film. But I felt that it was so important to bring this story into the world. And that happened. Right now, this film is going to several national and international film festivals, and the response has been tremendous. It's been very emotional, it's been very personal. I'm very grateful to the people who have watched this film, who have seen it. But most importantly, I think that this film will help these girls on Native American reservations to have a brighter future, to have an exciting, fulfilling life one day. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your time, for watching this film with us. And I look forward to answering your questions afterwards.
This area was really well known to our ancestors. They came through here, they camped, they had sites where they always returned to. The buffalo followed the stars, and we followed the buffalo.
My grandmother's told me about the Lakota Way of Life. The Lakota woman, she has to be really strong. I'm pretty sure she cries, but it's always hidden. Because she has to show that strength to the family so that they can grow that strength too. So that's her role in the Lakota Way of Life.
My grandfather picked this area because of the creek and the water, the canyons and the trees. My name is Leona One Feather, and I live at Wounditney. And this is where I grew up. Get out of there. My grandmother bought this trailer house. It's been here for 40 years. And we haven't had running water for probably when the trailer house shifted. God, it was so long ago. Like 30 years ago. My mom and dad and I, that was our bed. I finally outgrew them, but it was so cold in the winter, I'd have to sleep between them. No, No, ochpa means push your foot in. Like cave it in. That's what it means.
Mama, naughty it.
Yeah, you broke it. That was your birthday present. I just got on Social Security, and since I got these kids, I didn't get any assistance for them. They gave me $308 for food stamps for 3 of them. Their mom is in jail right now. So our kids get in trouble, whether it's drugs or drinking or whatever. Now the burden of the children in our tribe is set on us grandmothers. Take this back in there and go in there and behave. We're talking, you're not listening. For all of our tribe, there's only like 2,000 jobs. It's all dependent on the federal contracts that our tribe gets. And we don't have a private sector, so we don't have the money to do startup businesses. We still have good land, you know, and it does bother a lot of people because we're surrounded by racism. We didn't want to be Americans. We wanted to just be our own people. Growing up in a home where the language is predominantly Lakota. I didn't know how to read Lakota, but I learned. We have our stories of creation and how we develop over time. So we have a whole different process that Americans haven't been able to figure out. They can't figure out why we think different. In our culture, the girls are more emotionally protected. We live on a merit system, so a girl might do things that are really brave, or she engaged in battle and saved children and lives, or did something real heroic. She'll have the respect and honor of the same as a man.
You're on that side. Woo! 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 Okay. Woo! Yeah. Foot. 3, 2, 1. How many kick it? Take it to the gate. Take it to the gate. My parents, I love them, but sometimes they're a little strict on me. They kind of fight. They just argue a little times. So that's why I just don't really hang out with them. Oh, yeah, we got puppies. We got puppies. Oh, poor baby. Oh, puppy. I go different places. I mostly go to my grandma's. She took care of me for 2 years. Here you go. You can have the puppy back. She has I forgot what those things were where you take a kid away from your parents. Before my grandma took me, I used to have an uncle that took care of me. He got buried out close to Red Cloud School. Yeah, I only go see him once in a while, but I didn't really see him because it's sad for me. Go inside. Yeah, I think we got that now. I can't reach it. Tippy toe. It won't reach. Very cold. Cold. Here you go, patient. Thank you, sissy. Sisters. 7 Up. 7 Up, thumbs up. I didn't really go to school because I had a runny nose. So what I did in the morning was just eat oatmeal and then took another nap and played on my phone. AJ, what's 1 plus 2? 1 plus 2. What's 1? Okay. What is 3 plus 2? 9. Nope. Wrong. What's 3 plus 2? The only thing I usually do is clean. I clean, well, not really, but I usually help my grandpa do things. Hello. Thank you, Sandra.
I was in New York years ago.
Okay.
I heard it's dangerous here too.
Okay. I need a cup before you go. Yeah. Talk to the girls. Tickle, tickle. Wait, what you said?
Yeah. What's these fucking crap? Her and I, that's 4 generations.
I'm the Lakota woman. Right. Say yes.
Say Lakota Way.
Lakota Way.
We here at the Oglala Lakota band. We got a mean loss of identity here due to forced assimilation.
The government done a good job on us. They're using some kind of cultural module called self-hate, where they had us ashamed of who we were.
You're listening to the Thunder Valley CDC Radio Hour.
Welcome to the Thunder Valley CDC Radio Hour. We'd just like to know what you're up to here on Pine Ridge today.
We're working with Native American nations in the U.S. to establish what we call girl societies, which are neighborhood-based safe places where girls can go to have fun, but also talk about problems and be able to pursue opportunities. I'm Kelly Hallman. I'm a Cherokee Nation citizen from Oklahoma.
Am I a community member visitor? Is that what I am, or?
I'm the founder and executive director of the Indigenous Adolescent Girls Empowerment Network.
Do I need a key?
Is this where we're meeting tomorrow?
Yes, so this is the space that you'll meet tomorrow. It's really a neat facility. There's none like it on the Oglala Lakota Nation whatsoever.
We put out a call for tribal organizations to learn the planning tools to set up a girls' society.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All of you probably came here for a reason. There's something in your mind about what's going on with girls in your community. It's more about the general social and emotional supports that girls need.
I speak for our reservation because this is where I've been. We're not supportive of one another, and it's time now to let that all go, because we have to support one another. And we have to bring that together for our daughters and our future.
That's why I feel like these programs are so important, to teach our young girls to have pride in themselves and who they are and how to protect and understand their sacredness of being Lakota and what that means. You don't want to prepare them to be victims, to be those statistics. We have like parents selling their babies, caregivers selling their babies. We have dealers in Parmalee that are saying, here you go, come get high, here you go. Oh, now you owe me $500. So guess what? I'm gonna haul your butt up to Rapid and you're gonna work it off for 4 or 5 days before I bring you home. I've worked with 4 young girls in Parmalee that were victims, and the trafficking was in Rapid and they were brought home.
What our people struggle with is addiction. And so they're struggling with the addiction of either alcohol or a drug of meth, marijuana, or opiates. How do we teach them at a young age to know who they are and to be strong? And no matter if your friends are doing it or whatever, you're strong enough to say no.
How many of us adults know the phone numbers for a suicide hotline, our DV help support lines? Suicide is such a hard issue, and it affects, all of us. How many of us in the room have somebody who's committed or attempted within our family or within our friend circle? What got those babies so far down here to be hopeless, right? And so that's the purpose of the IMAGEN programming, is to build those baby girls up.
We have a strong belief that the women are sacred, women being the backbone of our society. So I think having a strong girl society and a strong womanhood will help our communities grow and thrive in the conditions that we have. My name is Amy Pond. I'm from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I born and raised there, which is village, the middle of the reservation.
Wait, hold on.
This is home to me. My family's here. I was a little bit lucky, I guess, in that aspect. Both my parents were employed, my parents were married. When I was young, my dad decided to quit drinking, so I, right off the bat, kind of had an advantage. I wanted to go to school elsewhere. I wanted to get off the reservation for a little while, just to see things, learn as much as I could. So I finished my master's program, and then I started looking for jobs here back home. And I want that to be the norm for girls.
Can we help? Yeah, stand in here. Grabbing stuff. That's good bread. She makes good bread. I bet. It's gonna get this by itself so I don't dump it on the sidewalk. Planning tools, like kind of a way to start it and keep it running. With the historical oppression that Native American people have experienced here in the U.S., family structures are often broken down. And so sometimes it's the teenage girls in the household that are the real sort of supports of both their mothers and grandmothers as well as the younger children. So girls have a lot more on their plates than boys do in terms of pregnancy risk, in terms of dropping out of school, in terms of having to shoulder the responsibilities of heading a family. Traditionally, in Native communities, there were societies to accomplish different things. There was a war society, there was often an agricultural society, a hunting society, there was a society to do coming-of-age ceremonies. The matrilineal traditions in many Native cultures meant there were women's societies to get things done. When to plant crops, when to make feasts according to moon and sun. Gender is really such a core piece of who we are as Native people. You know, women have particular strengths and men have particular strengths. We have like roles that we play, and that's how we've survived. When I was growing up as a kid, we moved around a lot because my father had a mobile job, and so it was always important to remember where I was from, who I was. I sort of want to be closer to home, looking at what role I might play in Indian country.
My name is Nikan Waywardon, or Thunder Before the Storm. My colonial name is Clyde Belcourt, and I'm one of the founders of the American Indian movement. I come here every year to celebrate this great victory that took place here. And I was one of the main people to bring the people here to Wounded Knee in 1973. We had a lot of women, and the women were strong.
A lot of us women, when we were young, we were really into the American Indian movement. I'm sure that, you know, I have a pretty thick file with the FBI.
When we came here, it was going to be a peaceful occupation and liberation of this community. The very next morning, when we woke up, they gave me some binoculars, and all the way in this hill, all the way around us, there was armored personnel carriers.
We were surrounded by all the federal agencies, the military. The BIA police are really vicious.
This government has done everything it's can, stripped us of our language, our culture, our tradition, and our land and our water. And they thought that we would surrender. So we put our minds together and said, we're not going anywhere. This is our land. We're going to stand up. And we're going to show our Indian people how to stand up again and be warriors. Gichida. Gichida Kwe, women warriors.
Oh, perfect. A lot of fun. Yeah. Having
We're expecting in all 9 districts for there to be a girls' society. It's open to all girls. There's fun things that girls will do, sewing, beading, playing hand games, other things like that. And so you'll also learn skills too, like how to prepare to get into college, how to get scholarships. I'm happy to answer any questions, but otherwise I'll turn it over to Amy to give you some more details about exactly what they're doing here.
So
there's a question.
Question?
Oh, it depends on where you go.
Depends. We could talk about that at the Girls Society next week. Another really important part of this is we want to make sure girls are able to learn about our culture. They're able to learn about the ceremonies. Maybe we'll be able to take them to a sweat or something. We'd like to take them on field trips to the sacred sites. But how this really works is through mentoring. So we'll have older girls around my age, women older, younger women that are gonna run these girls groups. They'll be in every community, like Callie said. They'll be at the same place, same time every day of the week so that girls have a place to go. where they feel safe and where they feel like they could talk about girl things with other girls and females. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else or doing anything else. As far as feeling like a sacrifice for being here, no, not at all. The opposite. A lot of times our girls and our people in general are overlooked and undercounted, underrepresented, and just need to have a stronger voice. So fill this out, I could take it with me, and then we could start one like at the school or something. And the girls could actually go ahead and fill it out and turn it back into me. I don't want their names or anything. We talk a lot about liberation, about self-determination. We want to start it in Pine Ridge. I'm just looking for more mentors. We talk about sovereignty and being self-reliant. We want people to feel like we're not stuck and that there's hope.
Thing is like having doing activities and stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of like a talking circle, and there'll be some fun activities and hopefully field trips, things like that.
Yeah. Does it happen every week?
Once a week, yeah. Yep.
I want to be a doctor because I like to help people feel better when they're sick and stuff.
Never mind. I'm riding with you.
I would like to go and live in a big city, like in New York or somewhere.
I want to be in the ER, probably go to college, have a good college, good grades, get my master's, and have a good life.
I want to go to high school and finish high school. I want to go to college, and after that, I want to I want to go to the Air Force.
That's the crab wall. Do you guys ever where they go? Look at the crab.
I want to be like my auntie because she was in the Air Force for 3 or 5 years, and then she made it sound cool, but then she said it was a little hard to fly because there's a whole bunch of buttons. I'm like, but I can think I can get them in my head because I'm really strong, so I can do it.
16, 17, 18, 19.
And then I also want to have a good house and a good life, and sometimes take care of my grandpa. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna push my grandpa across, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria and Kelly, for the introductory remarks. My name is Ángel del Valle. I am the country representative for the Population Council's office in Guatemala, where we have been working with Indigenous girls and communities over the past 17 years across Central America and Mexico. And now we're trying to find ways to exchange knowledge between the US, the Native American US, and the work here in Guatemala. I take this opportunity to remind us all that social change starts with denouncing the injustice and inequality that fuels poverty, racism, and the moral mandate that we have as humanity to fix the structural challenges that we heard about, such as unemployment, school dropout, addiction, among other negative outcomes that still persist in Indian country and in Indigenous communities around the world. The film shows that these challenging conditions of exclusion and oppression have been fought against for many generations, with expectations to live in a world where girls, children can be self-reliant and feel hopeful about the future. So we are very grateful for the work that was put into this documentary. This powerful film offers the world a glimpse of the social transformation that the Lakota girl societies represent. In today's discussion, we will hear from women and their powerful voices who are leading the work on the ground and from different areas of support. All of these anchored through the Indigenous Adolescent Girls Empowerment Network. So please remember to type in your questions as we move forward with the conversation, and we will be mindful to try to keep everyone in time. So thank you again for being with us. So now it is my honor to introduce again Victoria Kupchinesky, the film director and producer. Victoria, thank you again for this powerful film and all of the work that you did to put it together. What did you experience while making the Lakota Daughters?
Yes, hello again. Thank you so much for watching the film. And I saw the very positive reactions to the film. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, everybody. Unfortunately, I can't see myself again. I don't know, is my camera working?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Your question was, what did I experience? I experienced so much. Emotionally and intellectually. It was a discovery of a new culture on a new land. I had never been to a Native American reservation before. I met so many amazing, resilient women and wonderful girls with hopes and dreams. They inspired me. And of course, all this time I spent with Kelly. She's very driven and just very, very inspiring, a wonderful, wonderful, very serious and very interesting human being. It was also a very personal experience for me because, as you can probably hear from my accent, I'm a first-generation immigrant in the United States. So I came to this country at the age of 20, and for the past 30 years, I've been trying to understand and discover and learn the context of this new home of mine. What came before me? Who came before me? What does it all mean? So in the process of discovering America, if we may say that, I've been kind of searching and finding my own new identity as an immigrant here. When I went to the reservation, my question was, what is the price of my American dream, right? I come here to this country as an immigrant and I get a lot of opportunities that these people who have been here since the very beginning have never gotten ever. So what is the price of my American dream? Who paid for my American dream? What did these people have to sacrifice for my American dream? What did they sacrifice in their culture, in their identity, in their language, in their land, and sometimes in their lives? So it was really important for me to learn that, to understand that. And that experience humbled me a lot in terms of what I have and how I work, and creatively and intellectually, and how I am as a human being. So when I went to the reservation, it was important for me to hear the people and to feel what was around me. And when I was editing the film, it was important for me to remove myself from the film and to give voice to the people, to the people who live on Pine Ridge Reservation. Of course, it's kind of, it's a questionable thing. How can an artist remove herself from a film? But I tried. I tried to keep as little of myself in the film as possible. But on the other hand, it's been a very, very, very personal experience for me, because along with this process of just using the tools that I had, the skills that I had, and bringing these stories to the bigger screen, to a bigger audience, I've been also discovering myself, my own identity, and something about myself. So that's what I've been feeling and living for the past now over a year.
Thank you, Victoria. That was very uplifting. So we will now hear from Amy Pond, who is the Youth Leadership Development Initiative Director, and Mary Jo LeBeau, who is the Winjan Wichoha Coordinator, both with the Thunder Valley Community Development Corporation. So welcome, Amy and Mary Jo. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us about the life for girls in your communities and how your partnership with IMAGEN is helping you to reach and engage these girls?
Hi, everybody. First of all, I'd just like to thank Victoria again really quickly. That film was very powerful. That's my first time seeing the whole film, and almost got me kind of emotional seeing it in that way. And when you're living here and doing the work, and you don't see it the same way. And I'm just really appreciative of her storytelling ability, and getting the option to have our story told and out there. And for all of you guys here today, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Amy. That means a lot.
Also to Callie for her support through IMAGEN, the IMAGEN network, for all of the wisdom and guidance that she's given Mary and I as we've been beginning this program. I guess I kind of had some notes, but after watching the video, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about, and then Mary will jump on. My cousins are in the film with me. Kind of when I do things, usually my kids have to tag along, and whoever else is with me at the time. A lot of times it's my younger cousins, my other kids, things like that. And we just do things together. And my cousins were there with us. They're some of the girls talking about their goals. And I think that's where I got really emotional, because the struggles and barriers that they have in front of them to achieve those goals are tremendous. You've seen with the video, if you lived here, visited here, but the hope and the goals that they set for themselves is, say hi, look, is inspiring. And that's what just keeps me going. And that's, we could talk about all the issues and the struggles all day, but I'd like to stay focused on the resilience and the strength of the girls and the women in our community, to take care of each other and support each other. And I think that's what we hope to do with this partnership. And I think that's all I'll say.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here today with all of you. That was a really, that's the first time that I've seen the whole video also. And it was really emotional to see. My name is Mary LeBeau. I'm Oglala Lakota from the Pine Ridge Reservation. I'm the Wiyowee coordinator at Thunder Valley CDC, as well as one of the mentors for the Y Girls Society that we created with the help of IMAGEN and some of the surrounding school programs and partnerships with some of the tribal youth programs here on the Pine Ridge Reservation. I think IMAGEN has been a tremendous supporting factor in starting our Y Girls Society here at Thunder Valley. They helped us facilitate our first community meeting, as you have seen on the video. And it was really inspiring to see that much women come together in support of wanting to help bring change in our community. It was really great to see that. Also, the IMAGEN, program has given us tools and resources and helped us every step of the way. And it was really a really great program. The first workshop that I went to was in Sioux Falls, and it gave me an inspiration wanting to help make a change in our community. I was very moved, was very happy to be a part of also. So I'm so grateful for the IMAGEN Network. You all rock, amazing people, amazing program, and thank you for giving us the opportunity today to be together today. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy and Mary Jo. That was beautiful. And this work could not happen without you, without your coordinating roles and the mentorship and guidance that you provide to girls on a daily basis. And I know this is a commitment that goes beyond the IMAGEN network. So we are also very grateful for your existence and for your contribution to this work. So now we would like to welcome Gwendolyn Packard, who is the Training and Technical Assistance Specialist for the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. Gwendolyn, thank you for joining us. As a Native women and domestic violence expert, what are some of the key issues faced by Native American girls that IMAGEN is helping to address?
Ihaniwashte, hello, and thank you for the opportunity to participate on this beautiful or an amazing panel. My name is Gwendolyn Packard. I'm Ihangtawan Dakota. I work with the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. NIWRC is dedicated to reclaiming the sovereignty and safety of Native women. This is my first time viewing the video as well, and it was very emotional and also very inspiring. So I'm always truly, truly appreciative of the work that Kelly's been doing. Violence against Indigenous women and girls is directly linked to colonization. Our traditions teach us that women are to be respected. From the teachings of the white buffalo calf woman, we are taught that even in thought, women are sacred. Yet every 9 seconds, a woman is abused in an intimate partner relationship. Native women are abused 3.5 times the national average. 1 in 3 Native women will be raped. 3 in 5 will be sexually assaulted. Homicide is the 3rd leading cause of death. 75% of these women were killed by an intimate partner. And perhaps one of the most difficult statistics of all is that on many reservations, Native women are murdered at a rate of 10 times the national average. According to the National Crime Information Center database, in 2017, 5,646 Native women and girls went missing. And we know that these numbers are all underreported and that the problems and issues are far larger than what we see represented in numbers. As Native women, we live our lives in the dangerous intersection of gender and race. And Native women and children have been surviving abuse since contact with non-Native governments. Indigenous women and girls have been described as a perfect population for violence and sex trafficking because we have poverty, we have historical and ongoing trauma in our families, homes, and communities. and we have a legal system that doesn't step in to stop it. 86% of abusers of Native women are non-Native. And unfortunately, and quite often, tribes do not have the resources or jurisdiction to respond or stop the violence. I say all this simply to emphasize the importance of the critical work that Kelly and IMAGEN have undertaken in strengthening girls' societies in our communities. To offer safe spaces for girls to meet is huge. Infusing their culture and their cultural beliefs into the work and activities that they do, very important. Supporting and guiding their decisions and offering education on issues that they are experiencing, building sisterhood and creating allies, addressing their vulnerabilities and strengthening and empowering them in living and working in their respective communities. All of these are huge. They sound simple, but they are really huge. As I mentioned earlier, NIWRC is dedicated to reclaiming the safety and sovereignty of Native women. And there are clear connections between the safety of Native women and the sovereignty of Indian nations. And I just want to close with a Cheyenne proverb that we use a lot in our work, and that is, our nations will not be strong as long as the hearts of our women are on the ground. The working with girls is so strong women. We get it by creating strong girls. So I'm really, again, honored and humbled to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. The honor is ours, and such powerful words. I think, as you said, gender and race should not be a dangerous intersection for anyone. And the work that IMAGEN is doing is not only uplifting girls, but also offering support, guidance, and providing the minimum means of organization that girls need from an early age. So thank you again. Now we like to invite Dr. Judy Dias. She's a program officer for international programs at the Ford Foundation. Judy, thank you for joining us and for being with us. So can you tell us how a project such as IMAGEN can contribute to progress towards a more equitable future across race, gender, and socioeconomic lines?
Thank you. That means we have 2 hours left. Thank you, Angel. I want to begin by thanking the organizers for inviting me to participate. I am truly humbled and honored to be on this panel that embodies the experience and the knowledge of such a rich culture. I work at the Ford Foundation, but more often introduce myself as a fierce supporter of adolescent girls and young feminist organizers. I mean, look around the world. They are standing up everywhere and leading and resisting in communities. We certainly saw that play out at Standing Rock with the water protectors a few years ago. But that kind of leadership often happens, I think, in spite of the barriers we put in front of them, which Amy spoke about so eloquently. And those barriers, are grounded in 2 centuries of lethal government policies that have eroded these Native female decision-making structures. And those policies transformed tribal economic systems and imposed patriarchal norms. Talk about structural barriers for girls. So IMAGEN is not just about helping individual girls, but about addressing those power structures themselves, rebuilding Indigenous matrilineal social infrastructure. The reason we support IMAGEN is because of this structural approach, and also because it's not another youth program that fails to recognize that critical intersection, as you were just speaking of gender, age, and race, but rather using this intersectional approach for girls and linking them to older girls and women in their communities who are critically important to building girls' power. And I think we can no longer just talk about girls' rights and accessing rights. We need to start talking about giving girls power in the context in which they live. And so as IMAGEN matures as an organization, I am really looking forward to, one, learning from your experience as you document this, understanding the links with other Indigenous programs like yours, Angel, in Guatemala, seeing you expand your reach to more and more Native communities, and maybe become even more fully female Native controlled as a network. At Ford, we believe fundamentally in supporting organizations and movements led by those most deeply affected by the issues at hand. And so I'm so grateful for the council and to Kelly for having initiated IMAGEN. And finally, I just want to thank all of you who are working to support these girls in their power. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. That was very powerful. And yeah, I think, that's a shared feeling that we all have, that we want to see all of these movements across the world be led by the girls that are now participants, by the girls that are now joining these groups. And we hope that doesn't take that much time, because we're running out of time. So we are also close to the time for the event here today. So it is now the time to share some of the questions that we've been getting from you, from all of the audience that has been kind enough to join us. So here's a question for Victoria. Are you planning to follow up on the girls portrayed in the film and see if their vision can come true? How can people help you to do that?
My immediate question, of course, is yes. I want to, I think about the follow-up and the feature film and following up those girls and following up Kelly's work. I think about it every day. It would be wonderful to follow Patience and her friends for years to come. And I cannot promise that right now that it will be done, but I will do my best to do that. We would have, after the pandemic winds down, we will have to start this conversation with Kelly and with my editors and with my managers at Voice of America, and we'll see where this conversation leads us. But my emotional and intellectual and creative intention, and my intention as a citizen, is yes, to follow this story through and to show what their lives are going to be in 3 years, in 5 years, in 8 years, what college they will go to, how they will come back, the way Amy did, and what maybe I will follow them for the rest of my life. How is that for an answer?
That'd be good. Thank you. So here's a question for Amy and Mary Jo. So how do you expect to use the film in the work with girls, and what do you expect the community reaction will be?
I think the community's reaction will be good. I think that it would be a little, I hope anyways, inspiring to them as well, especially to the girls. I'm excited to show them. So go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I think showing the film locally would inspire more mentors to come on board with us. We need help with mentors and, getting our program across the reservation started in other areas. So I think that would be very helpful.
Thank you. That'd be great. And another question we have here is for Kelly. So any ideas on how people can help spread the word about this film, but also how they can support the IMAGEN mission in the coming days, months, years?
Thank you so much for the question. You can go to our website, imagine-network.org, and we have a newsletter you can sign up for. We also have merchandise available in a pop-up shop for a month. We're selling t-shirts, masks, tote bags. We also just opened a donation page, which I believe we shared the link to, but you can find that on the Imagine Network site as well. And, you know, just if you have friends or colleagues, coworkers who might be interested in our work, please do share it. We are really wanting to build our base of stakeholders and supporters. So we would welcome more allies in this effort to empower Native girls.
Thank you, Kelly. And now, before we go into the final segment of the screening, I just want to take a moment to also recognize the power of representation. And that's, you know, usually through research, through the projects that we do, we have this narrative about the work, about how to reach girls, about how to engage them. And I think these films, you know, they give us the opportunity to hear it firsthand and to see realities that, you know, even in light of this pandemic, we cannot see for ourselves. So thank you again for such a powerful piece. Everyone in the chat room is also very thankful for the opportunity and to spread the word. So now, for the final section of our event, I'd like to welcome Dr. Twai No, who is the Global Director of the Poverty, Gender and Youth Program at the Population Council and the founding director of the Girl Innovation Research and Learning Center. Twai has been a key supporter to the work with Indigenous girls in the US, in Mesoamerica, and will offer closing remarks to us all. So Twai, welcome.
Thank you, Angel. What a great honor to be here to share my reflection. And I just want to begin to say that there is no better way to begin March, a month that is dedicated to celebrate women and girls across the globe, than honoring the power and the resilience of Indigenous women and girls. So thank you, everybody, for this effort. We're beginning March on a very inspiring and positive note. And within the Poverty, Gender and Youth Program at the Population Council, we are so proud of IMAGEN, as you can gather from this conversation that it builds on decades of experience of our work with adolescent girls and communities who have faced systematic marginalization, preventing them from fulfilling their full aspiration and potential. So I want to take a few minutes to reflect on the journey that IMAGEN had come to today and its role in Indigenous community. 2 centuries of government policy had attempted to remove Native American children from their language, culture, and elders. And I really believe IMAGEN provide a mechanism for a Native generation to more easily connect with each other. And we really want to build IMAGEN as a Native-led initiative and become an effective tool for Native American communities to create sovereign platforms for revitalizing and preserving their own identity, values, and tradition. So I really think that IMAGEN strengthened Indigenous female support system by providing a step-by-step process for creating local spaces, or you have called it safe spaces, for intergenerational transmission of cultural knowledge, which is, as you can see from the documentary, so important and so valuable, and have been a victim of erasure in this country. And other than IMAGEN, most Native youth programs do not tailor by gender, by age, or other social economic status, and therefore may not be effectively meeting the variety needs that exist within the Indigenous community. So IMAGEN is so powerful that it's using story and data to really strengthening its program to provide support for Indigenous girls and its community. Some of the desired next step that we have is to really continue to document lesson learned as we move forward. So I am pleased that Victoria is willing to go with us on this journey, and just to formalize our resource material and expanding our reach, as Judy had mentioned, to other Indigenous community. And I just want to end by saying that I want to thank Kelly Harmon for her tremendous leadership, passion, and dedication for centering the voices and the lived experience of adolescent girls in this initiative. And it's been what a great pleasure to be supporting you, but also watching you grow this initiative into what it is today. We at the council are so proud of you, Lisa, and Angel and others for your work with Indigenous community. And thank you, Victoria, for this beautiful and powerful storytelling mechanism, giving IMAGEN and girls, you know, often girls do not get these opportunity, and it's so powerful to hear their aspiration and story on screen behind the data that we often talk about as researchers. And as a refugee to this country, I share so much of the values and your shared struggle and reconciliation and your in identifying what it is mean to be an American in this land as well. And last but not least, my sincere appreciation to the Indigenous community and leaders for opening up the door for the Population Council and my colleagues to do this work with you. And it is really you that it's because of you we can do this work. And thank you everyone for joining us today as we work collectively to uplift the voices of these vibrant Indigenous girls. And I just want to end to say that if we want to tackle systemic racism and aspire to live in a more just and equitable world, then we need to drive resources. You know, we can't just pay lip services, but we got to invest in adolescent girls and their Indigenous community for them to thrive and for them to go to college and for them to pay for college, as one of the girls asked that question in the documentary. And I want to draw your attention to our website if you would like to collaborate or if you want to work with us. It's www.imagine-network.org. And we love to kind of hear your thoughts, but also how you would like to contribute. Thank you, panelists. It's been a tremendous honor to be here today. And thank you, Angel, for moderating. And last but not least, thank you for all of your incredible work. I'm so honored to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you everyone for joining. This was a great event, and again, it will be available if you want to watch it again and if you want to share it. The resources are over the chat, and it was our sincere pleasure and my personal honor to be here with you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon.